Assalamualaikum, a very good evening. My name is Siti Nur Syaira binti Zaini, IDI 1507020. Well, today I'll be explaining a little bit about socialization. And the theory that I've chosen to focus on is about Mead's theory. But before we go in depth about his theory, I would like to explain a little bit about the importance of socialization. Well, first of all, do you guys know what socialization is and how does it work and why does it give an impact on our society? Well, meaning to say that a socialization is a process where we are learning about how to be a part of a culture. And through socialization, a person gets to learn about the culture's language, about his or her role in a society, and what is expected of them to be. Well, the process of socialization is very important because it is a process that creates and performs our personality and characteristic or traits. Well, meaning to say that socialization is where we interact with other people, and through interactions we begin to develop our own perceptions or something like that. So, basically, learning about socialization is very important because we get to acknowledge the cultures and be a part of it. Well, that is main importance about learning socialization. Well, the topic that or the theory that I'm focusing on is Mead's theory, George Herbert Mead's theory. Well, in his theory, he believed that others or other people could play a significant role in how we view ourselves, just like how Cooley did. But all the different things about both of them is that me explains that process occurs when or even happen because only particular or certain peoples can influence our own perception of ourselves and only at a within certain period of time or cycle of life. Meaning to say that the way that other people influence us are basically can change because of the cycles in our life. And we believe that as we grow up, we started to see how people view us as something that is important and started to develop or become aware of our surrounding. And this is where history distinct stages takes place. Well, the first stage is that is preparatory stage, the second stage is play stage, and the third stage is the game stage. For the first one, during the preparatory stage, children interact with others people by using imitations. Well, this is the stage where children are only imitating others without having any specific or perception of or something, because it's what is happening around them, their surrounding, which is very close to them. So they are trying to adapt that image by only adapting the roles, only imitating the roles without. Well, for example, when a child sees his mother is cooking or what, she or he will be playing with pots and pans. And another example is that if the child sees his mother or father is sweeping the floor, he will imitate that action by picking up the broom and start to sweep around. But this is the only phase that children are imitating, uh, which is not a real interaction, because they are only able to imitate things. For the next stage, it's the play stage. Well, this is the stage where children starts to develop or become more aware of social relationships. Well, this is where Mead explains, or he believes that this happens because it's a reflection or the results of what the activity of imitations have been doing to children. Well, for example, they play as mommy or daddy or sisters or brothers. During this stage or now, the child or children starts to develop the ability of role taking, They can focus more on role taking instead of just imitating like during the previous stage. Well, why? Because they are capable of taking other perspective of roles. This is when the children starts to develop their own perspective on a certain role or such and acting based on their own point of view. Well, instead of imitating like the previous stage, the children starts to respond, giving a response or creating their own version of the role taking. And for the last stage, the game stage, this is where the stage that children starts to develop an understanding of about social interaction. This is where children starts to consider about belief, attitude, and behavior of individual around them. Well, Mead used these terms as a generalized other or society as a whole. This is when children starts to see and understand that people do not only take only one role or one certain thing at a time and perform it in ways based on their own perspective, but instead they view it as what the society has put or the society's expectation. Where this is the phase where children starts to understand about multiple roles. Some can they starts to understand that some people can actually take multiple roles, and people can be other roles instead of just performing one role. For example, instead of just saying mom, just being moms, and dads, just being dads, they start to understand that a part of being just a mom, uh, even mom can be something else. For example, their mom can be a teacher or such. Another example is that back then I used to think that my mom is only just a mom. But as I grow up and see that she's not just a mom, but she's also something else rather than being just my mom. Well, she's actually teaching other people. She's a lecturer, and that's one of the example. Well, that sums up all of my theory about me. And thank you.